When Elon Musk told Joe Rogan that 3I Atlas could be aliens, the internet exploded. But there's one person whose opinion actually matters. Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist who first raised the alarm about this object, and he just responded to everything Musk said. What Elon got right about the nickel, what he got catastrophically wrong about the iron, and why the answer to whether 3I Atlas is natural or artificial might come down to one chemical signature that shouldn't exist in nature. The object is 17 kilometers long. It's moving at 245,000 kilometers per hour. And we have 7 anomalies that no one can explain.
This is the full story. July 1st, 2025. The Atlas Survey Telescope in Rio Hurtado, Chile, detected something extraordinary. A faint, fast-moving object, unlike anything astronomers had seen before. Within hours, astronomers confirmed what seemed impossible. This wasn't from our solar system. It was designated 3I Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar object ever recorded. Following Oumuamua in 2017 and Comet Borisov in 2019, 3I Atlas became humanity's third confirmed visitor from beyond. But this one was different. This one was behaving strangely. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope captured this image on July 21st, revealing a teardrop-shaped cocoon of dust and a growing tail. At first glance, it looked like a comet, but appearances can be deceiving.
3I Atlas is moving on what's called a hyperbolic orbit, meaning it's traveling so fast, over 245,000 kilometers per hour, that the sun's gravity can't capture it. It will pass through our solar system and never return. But it wasn't just the speed, it was the anomalies. 7 of them. 7 things that didn't make sense. Anomaly number 1, the anti-tail. Most comets spray gas and dust away from the sun. 3I Atlas was doing the opposite, projecting a jet toward the star. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb called it braking thrust. Anomaly number 2, nickel emission. On August 21st, astronomers at the Very Large Telescope detected nickel vapor in the comet's coma, at a distance where temperatures should be far too cold for metals to vaporize. Rohan Rahatgaonkar, the PhD student who made the discovery, told NPR it was pretty clear that it was nickel. Anomaly number 3, no iron. Despite detecting nickel, there was no iron. A chemical signature so unusual it's never been seen in any solar system comet. Anomaly number 4, water production. 3I Atlas was releasing water vapor at 40 kilograms per second, despite being at a distance where comets should be frozen solid and inactive. Anomaly number 5, carbon monoxide. James Webb Space Telescope detected high concentrations of CO, a fragile compound that shouldn't survive a billion-year journey through interstellar space. Anomaly number 6, periodic rotation changes. Every 4 hours, astronomers noticed small variations in the object's rotation, similar to trajectory corrections made by artificial spacecraft. And anomaly number 7, its trajectory. 3I Atlas appears to be on a precisely calculated path toward Jupiter, arriving March 16, 2026. Some scientists wondered, could this be intentional? By October, the scientific community was buzzing, but it took Elon Musk to make it explode into the mainstream.
Paying attention at all to 3I Atlas?
If I was aware of any evidence of aliens, Joe, you have my word, I will come on your show, and I will reveal it on the show.
On October 31st, during an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, when asked about 3I Atlas, Musk replied, "It could be aliens." I don't know, apparently they're saying it changed course. Within hours, the internet erupted. But was Musk revealing classified information? Or was he speculating like the rest of us? During the podcast, Musk and Rogan discussed one of the most puzzling anomalies, the nickel detection. Musk pointed out that many asteroids contain nickel, and when they collide with Earth, those are prime locations for mining the metal. He's absolutely right about that. According to a report by IBT Times UK, Musk had allegedly been following analysis from a YouTube channel called Uncovered X, which detailed all 7 anomalies in a viral video. The report claims Musk stated, 3I Atlas is definitely not an ordinary comet. He questioned NASA's silence, citing technical problems during the object's period of greatest visibility, suggesting a possible cover-up. But here's what's critical to understand. These explosive claims come from secondary sources and social media speculation. So what does NASA actually say? And more importantly, what does Avi Loeb, the scientist at the center of this controversy, think about Musk's comments? Shortly after the Joe Rogan podcast went viral, Avi Loeb gave an interview addressing exactly what Elon Musk got right and what he got wrong.
That's entirely true, but what he's missing is that along with these objects being nickel rich, they're also iron rich. In nature, we find nickel and iron together because they are both produced in the same supernova explosions.
Loeb acknowledged Musk's point about nickel-rich asteroids. That's completely true. But what he's missing is that along with these objects being nickel-rich, they're also iron-rich. Here's why that matters. In nature, we find nickel and iron together because they are both produced in the same supernova explosions of stars. You can't produce nickel without iron, or iron without nickel. They come together. In fact, solar composition has more iron than nickel. So you really need to separate the nickel from the iron to get the proportions observed in 3I Atlas. And here's the bombshell. Loeb stated, the only other place where we see such an exaggerated proportion of nickel relative to iron is in the industrial production of nickel alloys. That was the whole point of me mentioning that, but Loeb was quick to clarify. The object isn't made of nickel. It's mostly carbon dioxide on the surface, at least that's what we've seen. So what did Loeb think of Musk's overall comments? I think that's the right attitude to be open-minded. It's a sign of humility. We shouldn't assume that we know the answers in advance, and if something looks strange, we should be curious and figure it out based on data. That's all I'm asking. But Loeb had strong words for the scientific establishment. There are people who see that as heresy, the fact that I'm willing to entertain a possibility that they are dismissing up front, even without good data. They don't really explain the anomalies. I want them to explain the anomalies. Loeb laid out 3 anomalies that critics still haven't adequately explained. First, the massive size. Why is 3I Atlas so much larger than the previous interstellar visitors? Second, its trajectory. It comes close to planets with a very small statistical likelihood. And third, the alignment. 3I Atlas comes within the plane of the planets around the Sun to within 5 degrees. Loeb calculated the probability of this happening by chance. The chance of the third object being in that plane is less than 1%. Why would the third object be in that plane with such a big size when we haven't seen a lot of small ones? Loeb's frustration was clear. Whenever someone says I'm confident, it's not a matter of authority. It's not a matter of making a statement. It's a matter of explaining the anomalies. Rather than waste time sounding like the adult in the room, these people should actually say what is their response for the anomalies. And then Loeb made a crucial point about risk assessment. When you deal with a situation that has impact on humanity, on society, you can't ignore a small probability event because when you multiply small probability by a huge impact, you get a significant outcome. That's well known within intelligence agencies when they assess risk. In other words, even if there's only a 1% chance this is artificial, the implications are so enormous that we can't afford to dismiss it without investigation. So where does that leave NASA? Tom Statler, NASA's lead scientist for solar system small bodies, gave the clearest answer yet to The Guardian. It looks like a comet. It does comet things. It very strongly resembles, in just about every way, the comets that we know. In September, the Gemini South Telescope captured definitive evidence. 3I Atlas had grown a tail, the hallmark of an active comet. NASA released this statement on the debrief. The evidence is overwhelmingly pointing to this object being a natural body. It's a comet. James Webb Space Telescope detected carbon dioxide, water, carbon monoxide, and water ice, all consistent with cometary composition. But none of this directly addresses the 3 anomalies Loeb highlighted. The unusual nickel-to-iron ratio, the massive size compared to previous visitors, and the statistically improbable alignment with the planetary plane. NASA says comet. Loeb says prove it by explaining the anomalies, and Elon Musk says keep an open mind. So who's right? 3I Atlas is real. Confirmed by NASA, ESA, and observatories worldwide. It poses zero threat to Earth, coming no closer than 270 million kilometers. Its nucleus is between 440 meters and 5.6 kilometers across. Preliminary estimates suggest it's between 3 and 11 billion years old, potentially older than our entire solar system. On October 30th, 2025, it made its closest approach to the Sun. It's now heading outward, and by early 2026, it will leave our solar system forever. In March 2026, NASA's Juno spacecraft will search for radio emissions from 3I Atlas between 50 Hz and 40 MHz. Why? Because 3I Atlas arrived from the same direction as the famous WOW signal detected in 1977. The overwhelming scientific consensus is that this is a natural comet. But the anomalies remain unexplained. The nickel without iron, the improbable alignment, the massive size. Are these just unusual natural phenomena we don't yet understand? Or could they be signs of something more? As Avi Loeb put it, we shouldn't waste time arguing about confidence levels. We should be collecting data and explaining the anomalies. Because if there's even a small chance this represents something artificial, the implications for humanity are too significant to ignore. So is 3I Atlas an alien spacecraft? We don't know, and that's okay. What we do know is this: Elon Musk was right to be open-minded. Avi Loeb is right to demand explanations for the anomalies. And NASA is right to follow the data. The universe doesn't need to hide alien spacecraft to be mysterious. But it also doesn't need to fit our preconceptions of what's natural. 3I Atlas is genuinely unusual. The chemistry is unprecedented. The alignment is improbable, and we have one chance to study it before it vanishes forever. As Carl Sagan once said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. But as Avi Loeb reminds us, extraordinary dismissals require extraordinary explanations. Trust the science, demand evidence, question everything, and never lose your sense of wonder. This is the golden age of discovery, and the universe is just getting started.